Welcome into Chalk Talk here on Wednesday, March 27th, live from Ron's Pizza in Bellefontaine, Ohio on PeakofOhioTV and PeakofOhioTV.com. I'm your host, Caleb Spinner. We've got a great show coming up for you. Two guests. We're going to be pretty different in the subjects we talk about. First, we're going to start off with Kris Myers, the superintendent of the Bellefontaine Joint Recreation District, talking about the levy that's been happening recently. With the voting day on March 19th, talk about what the plans are for that should it pass. Still a few votes coming out before we solidify that result. And then we will switch gears to the Diamond. We'll be talking with Russ Hogue and the Bellefontaine baseball team. We'll bring up a few of his seniors, and we'll talk about what their plans are for the upcoming year. That's all coming up next year on Chalk Talk. We'll see you on the other side of this commercial break with Kris Myers.
Wealth Advisors asked the question, where could retirement take you?
We want to go to Alaska. Never been there, and I've been wanting to go for the last 15 years. My wife keeps on saying, no, we're not old enough yet. I think we're old enough now to go enjoy Alaska.
At Dodds Wealth Advisors, we want to hear your retirement dreams and help you turn them into reality.
I'm Paul from Urbana.
Where could retirement take you?
Welcome back to Ron's Pizza here in Bellefontaine, Ohio. I am joined by my first guest, dramatic pullback, to reveal Kris Myers. Kris, welcome back, should I say, to Chalk Talk.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me tonight.
So the last time we talked about it, I learned what the Bellefontaine Joint Recreation District was, and we talked about all the wonderful things you guys do for Bellefontaine in terms of maintaining the community space, maintaining these community events that really pull people in towards the community. What have you done since then that I've missed out on living in Columbus and not Bellefontaine?
Well, first off, we got to get you moved up here and get you in this wonderful community full time.
I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to fight. If I live within striking distance of Ron's Pizza, done.
That's always a
Done.
good win. Always a good win. So it's been a really interesting time since I was on Chalk Talk last. We've had a lot of irons in the fire. We had wrapped up our master plan that we started back in 2021 actually, and then 22, wrapped it up at the beginning of 23, and then we're up for a ballot initiative right now, waiting to see what the final results of that are going to be. So really kind of exciting times to see how everything comes out with the ballot initiative. It was for a 0.267% income tax increase to benefit, and all of those funds raised through that additional income tax for the city of Bellefontaine will go to Parks and Recreation operations and capital expenditures. So we're excited to see what the final results will come out here on April 9th and see if we were successful.
So you mentioned voting day, March 19th. That's when a majority of the ballots were put in. You were up 12 at that point. But you've already mentioned already that the final tally will come in April 9th. There's still a lot of time from there that I don't think that things can flip, but, you always want to knock on wood there.
Absolutely.
I feel like when people hear the word levy, and this is just my understanding, please by all means stop me if I'm wrong here. I think people get a negative connotation with a levy that just means you're going to charge me more.
Well, nobody wants to pay more taxes, me included. Like we understand that, and in our community, we didn't take this to the ballot lightly. We looked at what are the options. How could we fund the things the community's told us they want to see? One, fix, which is the primary focus of what we're trying to do, is take care of what we have, and then what new facilities do we need to deal with that our community expects to have. And unfortunately, to do those things, we have to raise the tax to do those kind of things that come out. And so this will generate somewhere between $1.2 and $1.5 million if passed. And it's going to go into restroom upgrades, new restroom facilities. It's going to go into putting renovation and fixing our facilities that are outdated. If we replaced all the playgrounds that we need to replace right now, the total bill on that's about $1.5 million. So it's going to be a process to go through. We've got restrooms we need to deal with. We're going to go into Harmon Park, which is one that's out on 47 West, where the facility is worn out, and that's okay. It happens.
Just means it's been used a lot.
It's been used a lot. It's a great neighborhood park. It's important. We're going to go back in there, new playgrounds, put a splash pad in there, new restrooms, and really just freshen. And we need to do that all across town. So that's why this was put on as a permanent tax to take care of our existing parks, all 17 of them, and to, for the future, be able to take care of those investments.
So admittedly, because I don't want to lie to you, my head is spinning with follow-up questions because everything you're talking about is, it's great. It sounds perfect. And maybe that's a little biased from me, coming from a guy who does not pay taxes in this district. I think I hear all that, and I'm like, that's wonderful. But I want to rewind a little bit back to what you were talking about of you guys were thinking about when to bring this to a ballot. Just in a general year, every year has its ups and downs. Every year has its nuances. But in a typical year, what determines when you bring something to the ballot? Is it just if you have a big initiative, or is it just, hey, this might be the right time?
Well, we look at what's the community want. What we did was we put did the master plan, and it identified we need to generate this kind of revenue to take care and do the things that really through the community survey, the community meetings we did, the interviews with local with citizens, that this is what they wanted to see happen. To do it, this is what it was going to take to do it. And we were actually on the ballot in November, and it went down. When I walked away from that, I said, okay, maybe we just need to step back. We'll wait, see what the community has to say. Our levy committee, our volunteers, the people that use our facilities on a regular basis, we're like, no, we're going back in March because it's too important. They see the value in what we are trying to accomplish, what this community wants and expects out of our department. And so because of that, we decided to go ahead and come back again to the voters. We weren't sure that we had communicated real well the first time about the nuances of what we were trying to do and why we were doing it the way we were. And we saw some change in the two different elections so far. So, it's not a done deal, but we feel like we have really communicated well why we wanted to try and make these improvements.
When you're going to ask people for money, especially something as permanent as a tax like this, and again, tax, another word with negative connotation here, not saying these don't deserve it, by the way, depending on what your life experience is, but I think it's objective to say that these do have, tax. Ooh, oh boy, uh-oh.
Absolutely.
What's that saying that you have, that the brain experiences pain when you pay with cash, like actually does. The big point, the big way to get people to give money is to explain what it's for in detail, as clear as possible. What did your messaging change look like between that first fail in November to, knock on wood, this current looking success?
Really what we were trying to do is make sure people understood who it costs, like who's going to have to pay the tax, how...
in terms of like family, like regions this affects?
No, it affects, for example, the city of Bellefontaine, all of our income tax. So currently the income tax rate in Bellefontaine is 1.33%.
Okay.
Which is well below all surrounding communities in our area. This will take us to 1.6, which puts us, we'll still be below Sydney, but we'll be above Kenton, we'll be just above Urbana, we'll be just above Marysville, but by 0.1%, not by a significant margin. And so, but the other thing is it's on earned income. So retirement income is not taxed because it's not earned income. That's retirement income, and that's a different thing. So
capital gains wouldn't be taxed because it's just out of the stock.
No,
okay,
it's income tax on earned income. So that was really important. We wanted to try and educate, make sure people understood what the tax was, and then we also want to make sure people understood what was going to happen with this tax if it's passed. And so it was that process, trying to get the word out. In today's media and in today's, it's tough to get word out in a lot of ways. So much relies on social media, so much relies on different avenues, because our traditional forms of media, Chalk Talk is now a live stream show and not something that's broadcast on the radio. And so it's really interesting to see how that transitions happen. And then we're constantly learning, how do we communicate as a department. We have Facebook, we have Instagram, which is not something that is my wheelhouse, but we have staff that it is. So, but it's just different than how we used to do it. I no longer have a cancellation line that you call into. You log on to social media, or we send out a text message. It's amazing just how this is just started my 20th year here. And the way we do communication has just changed so much. So that's a lot of what it was trying to make sure we got the message out the best we could.
Lou, I know you're watching. Write that down. Put Chalk Talk on the radio. It's a good idea. It's a very good idea.
I've done Chalk Talk more on the radio than I have on the live stream.
This is my first year, and I think it'd be a great idea to put Chalk Talk on the radio.
It's a good product no matter what. So we're really really fortunate.
He says that, and I've interviewed him twice, so that's surprising there. I know you talked a lot about community input, and that's certainly huge in terms of not only just addressing what they're feeling in terms of, is this the right time to push a levy, but also what do they see is urgent. I know you've got your own wish list, you've got your own plan on what things are going, but they're a big feed into that. What does their response look like?
Well, this is not my plan. This is the community's plan. The vision of what came out of the master plan was built on the input we got from the public, the input we got from when I say interested parties, from the chamber, from the business community, from and trying to get input from them, from our elected officials, and really trying to see what does our community feel we need to be providing, and what needs replaced, what do we need to be dealing with. And we got some great input. We did a web-based survey, and we got some great responses, amazing amount of responses in the general grand scheme of things, and amazing comments. That was one of the things. We had a comment section throughout the survey, and the answers to those questions, the written answers, we've got pages and pages, and it was really insightful. I was really blown away by how insightful it was and how much our community is connected to what we're doing. And so, we need input from our community in so many ways. Whether you have a kid in our program and maybe it didn't go great for you, we need to know about it. Because if we don't hear about it, then we're not able to respond and deal and make sure we want to do a great job and run great programs and have great facilities. And so we want that input, so people can always reach out to us. We have email address at parks@ci.bellefontaine.oh.us, which you can go to our website.
A lot of dots in there.
A lot of dots. BelleFontaineParks.com. Go there. There's links to all of our stuff, and it's really important. Send us a message on our Facebook page. That's fine too. Whatever input we can get from the public is really important to us. And so this process was all about how do we get that input, and that's something we're trying to grow and do better at. We're trying to do that with our programs. We're trying to do a better job of communicating and getting that input back, because that's how we're going to get better and grow as a department and be what our community expects us to be.
Does that process of, filtering in feedback look like, I'll say, for lack of a better term, a Venn diagram approach? A lot of most people said this, so this is going to be top priority, or is this just like, building a new football stadium is going to take longer than putting in a new park, so we're going to do this one first? So
we identified what of our existing facilities do we need to deal with first, and so we had kind of a Venn diagram. What was hit there the most? Number one item: restrooms.
Really?
Well, our newest restrooms are 20 years old.
Yeah.
Or 24 years old now. It was 2000 at Southview Park.
Yeah.
And so, when you look at most of our restroom buildings, so at Ratliff, at Rutan Park, the park restrooms date back to the early 70s, and we need to invest. Those buildings are okay, but the inside, they need redone, and we just haven't had the capital dollars to do those things. And
Sure.
So that was identified in one. Number two was playgrounds in our playgrounds. That's important. The neighborhood playgrounds are huge. We have 17 parks, and in those 17 parks, we have like 15 different play structures. And how do we invest in those and make sure we're taking care of that? And then we had other things and then what do you want to see new? And we have a pool that has lived its life, so we didn't even give the option to fix the pool because it's beyond.
Right.
We can't do that.
It's one of those things that you just do a new one.
Right.
Yeah.
And so splash pad and pool were 1 and 2 in what the community wanted to see. And
in the new department.
If we were to pass this in the master plan, that was identified.
Right.
As. And so that's our intention. That if this is finalized and passed, then we're going to start with Harmon Park probably in 2025, and there'll be a splash pad going in there. And then we'll be starting the planning for replacing the Hoffman pool. And so that's because that's what the community said they wanted to see. And so we really took that to heart and really, yes, what do you want to see? And, people talked about walking paths, and those were some of the highest use things we have. We have the walking path at Southview, the walking path out at Blue Jacket Park, and we've identified a couple of other areas that we think make really good sense to have even in some of our neighborhood parks. Up at Blair Park, we think a walking path around there would be really, really a great asset to the neighborhood. So those are the kind of things that we're looking at and really want to make those investments in our community.
I immediately just got a Clark Griswold vibe from you of when I get this check, I'm going to put in a pool, Christmas vacation style.
Yeah. Well, and it's really interesting. When we talk about pool, it's different. There are more pools in people's backyards now than we've ever seen before. But when we look at the service we provide with our pool, a couple of things that stand out, and that's one is our Learn to Swim program. We did almost 500 swim lessons last year, 500 separate swim lessons in our 10 weeks that we were open. And so it's a community, it's a public safety piece that most people in Bellefontaine, if they've learned to swim, have learned to swim at the Hoffman pool. So that's one of our really big, it's a public safety piece of why the pool is important. We have over 100 kids on the summer swim team, which is really important because that feeds into, that helps the Y swim program. Then that also helps our high school programs that have swim team. It all builds, and so much of the aquatics world starts with our summer program at the Hoffman pool. And so that's a lot of what I think the public was seeing as well and why they identified it as so important.
These are these things that have immediate benefits in terms of it's a pool, it's, you said 2025, but still, it's a big thing in the summer. It's a big community gathering spot. But also, that second and third objectives of the swim lessons, of benefiting the swim team, of that, and not to say that like
and
one and then 2, 3,
right.
but those extra things.
Right, and it's a family place. Now we can't. Hopefully we can do the splash pad in 2025. That's the goal, is to do Harmon in 25. We've got some grant applications out that will actually supplement what we're trying to do, hoping those things kind of come through and keep us on the schedule we want to be on. And then the pool, like I said, if we pass the income tax increase, pool's probably going to be another 4 years down the road because there's a lot of planning. We're going to be back to the community saying, hey, all right, we passed this. Now, how are we going to design it? What's it going to look like? And we want the community to help us with that process as well. We're going to do that as we go to do Harmon Park, even if it's in 25. We're going to be meeting we want to do community meetings in the neighborhood. What do you want to see? We have some conceptual drawings, but those are kind of out of the master plan. We really want to plan the parks with the neighbors and really make that investment together.
Throughout all of this, you make it sound, and it seems so, that the community is a major part of this, almost as responsible for it as you are here. I feel like I'm just gonna go this hypothetical route and say that nothing changes between now and April 9th, and this levy passes. How grateful are you to the community? Not even just for what they've done, but for the feedback you get and for how much they've bought into the master plan that you guys have.
Well, I think that's what's so important. We are the community. Whatever the community wants, that's what we want to be. And so we're so grateful that the community, the people that have been a part of this process, whether they were on the master plan steering committee, whether they were a part of a levy committee, or whether they're involved in programs, or they're just somebody that uses our facilities, or their grandkids, or one of my board members, when we talk about what this funding means to the organization and to the community, and he says it's generational. It's for all generations and for generations to come. And so I think that was really insightful on his part to identify that. And so we're just going to do our best to try and be that for our community. Win or lose, we want to do that and be that for the community to the very best of our abilities.
Yeah, the mission doesn't change.
Right.
At the end of the day, the master plan is still the master plan.
Yeah, and we just got to figure out if this doesn't pass, how do we try and maybe take smaller bites of the apple, and it's going to take a lot longer. And how do we go about some things and work with the city administration, work with our board to make changes that the community really wants to see.
But at the end of the day, this is all stuff that's going to be changed because it's what the community has said needs addressed. At some point, it's going to get figured out. It's just about whether it's more recent with the funding or.
And it's just, and if we don't get the funding, how do we figure out how we're going to pay for some of these things? And that really just makes the timeline become, we're talking years and years, and instead of, we're still going to be years and years, but what we can impact. Well, and make that for the community. But that's what we're working towards.
So still looking at the future, but going a little bit away from the levy here.
Yes.
You've done a lot since the last time we had you on for Chalk Talk. I think the last time was the community tailgate, I think, before one of the Bellefontaine football games.
Yeah, I think
the last time. Point being, it's been a while.
Sure.
And you've done so much between now and then. Now it's starting to get warmer outside, God willing.
Yes.
This is prime time for park and community events here. What do you guys have on tap coming down the pipe?
Well, we're gearing up here. We've got really the eclipse is something big on our radar right now. Not necessarily just because we need to be ready for it. We're getting restrooms open, getting everything prepped because we expect there to be a significant number of people coming to Bellefontaine for that event. And so we want to make sure that our parks are open and available and usable for our citizens, and we're not having damage done because we got cars where we don't want them and that kind of thing. So we're working with staff on that. But that's going to be a really big thing for our community, and so we're trying to be supportive to try and make that work. And then we're into all of our youth programs are just taking off right now. Our baseball and softball, those actually signups are done. Teams are I think we drafted softball on Monday. We're drafting baseball tomorrow night. And then we're moving into, you can still register for our junior track program. That'll kick off here in May. Then we're rolling into, of course, the pool operation. We'll be opening the pool here Memorial Day weekend. We've got tennis camp over the summer, which is a great growing program, and then into our fall activities. So there's a lot up. If you go to our website, you can find all those programs and get moving. But so much of what we're doing is just prepping, getting our facilities ready for people to be in them more, and whether that be ready for ball games. We're hosting a bunch of tournaments this summer that are different than maybe we've done in the past, and we're excited to see what that means. So trying to bring dollars into our community by making our facilities available to some large organizations. We have actually over 50 teams coming the last weekend of April. There's 50, and then another 50 coming the first weekend in May. And so that's going to be a significant impact on our facilities. So we're trying to be prepared for that. We're bringing on seasonal staff pretty rapidly. We're cutting grass the middle of March, which is crazy. We were mowing last week, which is about as early as I can remember where we were cutting grass. So it's a lot of those kind of things we're getting geared up for. Make sure equipment's ready to roll, and that we're ready to be what we need to be for the next 4 months, 5 months.
I can tell from the last time we talked to you and now that you care tremendously about these parks and the community endeavors here. When you start to see, especially after a really cold winter of everybody more or less inside, people coming out and enjoying the parks, playing baseball, doing the junior track, taking advantage of everything that you guys have and have provided, community included, in the Bellefontaine Joint Recreation District, How proud does that make you feel?
Well, I'm proud to be a part of this community. My wife and I are not from here. We chose to be here, and it has become home for us. And that's something that we're really happy to say. We love living here. We love what Bellefontaine City Schools are for our family. We love what my wife's job at the hospital and what our hospital is. We are just so fortunate to be in a community where everybody is so in tune with moving forward, and so it's been a blessing to be here. I love being here. I love what I do. It's amazing that I'm in my 20th year. I'd never dreamed that that's where we would be and that we would be here this long. And but it's amazing how when you find a place that you love, you don't want to leave. And so that's really what I feel just wonderful about. And I've been very blessed in my time here in this position. Following Biff Roberts, who did an amazing job in my role for the 20 years before me, and then Dick Kauffman for the 35 or 40 years before Biff, and there's only been 3 of us kind of in this role for a long time, and you just never dream that that's the path you're on. But the way the community has embraced my family, it's just amazing that we're able to be a part of that. So. And
one more time here, how can people get in touch with you if you want to look directly at the audience?
I will look at the audience. Yes, that's sorry. So you several ways. First off, our website. That's where you can do registrations. That's where you can find information on how to contact the office. Our website is bellefontaineparks.com. And if you go there, you can get most of your information. We also can be found on Facebook. You can find us under Bellefontaine Joint Recreation District on Facebook and Instagram. And so that's the easiest ways to reach out to us. You can always call our office, 937-592-3475, and somebody will answer the phone during the day. Apologize. It's awesome.
And then one more thing before we let you go here. I know you're wearing a baseball cap. We've got Bellefontaine baseball coming up next. You looking forward to baseball season?
Absolutely. We're so fortunate. It's fun. The way our relationship as a joint rec district is with the schools in the city. The high school baseball and softball teams play in our park, on our facilities. And so we have a great relationship. Coach Hogue, Coach Katie, Buffkin with the softball team, we work so closely and hand in hand with them. And so we look at them as partly ours as well. And we're so fortunate with the facilities we have at Blue Jacket Park, and really can call those amazing facilities home for these young student athletes. And so we're just blessed to be a part of that. And I'm excited. I was glad to see the boys got their first win on Monday night, 9-3. That's exciting. And then the softball teams already got 2 wins under their belt, and so off to a good start. And I've had on because I was out watching my daughter play softball this evening, and it was cold. But it was cool to see her playing. She's on the middle school team, and so they had their first game tonight. And so it was great to see, and I love ball. And now, my phone was ringing. I was sitting here. My son's running at the high school track meet right now. So, my freshman. So it was, and I was at the middle school track meet last night for my other son. So we're all over and love it, and just so happy to be a part of this community and what we do in Parks and Rec, what our schools do in athletics, in the music programs, and all of those things. This is just such a great place to live and raise a family.
It's a busy season for the Myers house. Absolutely.
Every season's a busy season when you got 4 kids in 4 years. So,
Coach, I'm so used to saying Coach.
You can say Coach. It's all good.
You know what, though? You're wearing the baseball hat. I'm in the baseball mood. This is one of those things where your mind just falls back into what's comfortable.
That's good.
And a lot of times I have a coach in this chair, so it's just how I react here. Kris.
It's my pleasure.
I know it's spelled with a K, but it sounds like a C. Kris, thanks for joining us here. I'm sure we'll have you on again in the future when everything is going with the pool and all that stuff. But we'll let you go and we'll let you get to the high school track meet. When we come back, we will have the head coach, Russ Hogue, and his Bellefontaine boys baseball team coming up next here on Chalk Talk.
Ohio High Point's 664th Hair Force Salon is now open and ready to pamper you from head to toe. Treat yourself to a relaxing spa day with our wide range of services. Whether it's a fresh haircut, a soothing facial, or a perfect manicure and pedicure, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. Prices start at just $5. Yes, you heard that right, $5. You can look and feel amazing without breaking the bank. Appointments are available Wednesday through Friday, starting at 8:30 a.m. Come experience the 664th Hair Force Salon at Ohio High Point.
At Dodds Wealth Advisors, we've been serving the Logan County area for 45 years, and we've seen a lot. Blue collar, white collar, no collar. We've learned that what all our clients really want is peace of mind. So, our mission?
We walk with others, guiding them to peace of mind and confidence. Money doesn't come with instructions, and we want people to be able to focus on what they care about most.
The weekend should be for relaxing, and that means no cooking. Check out what's hot at Ron's Pizza in Bellefontaine. On top of pizzas, they have subs, sandwiches, salads, and lots of sides like breadsticks, garlic cheese bread, pickle chips, beer battered onion rings, loaded fries, and more. Check out a specialty pizza this weekend. Ron's Pizza is ready to cook for you. Call 292-7775 or stop by and dine in on South Main Bellefontaine. See more and a menu online at Ron's Pizza's Facebook page.
Welcome back to Chalk Talk here at Ron's Pizza in Bellefontaine, Ohio. Caleb Spinner alongside my second and I guess you could say final guest, if we include your team here, second to last, but or rather seventh to last because you've got 6 seniors coming on. Anyway, we don't like to do math on this show. We're going to be joined by Russ Hogue here in just a second. First, always remember that a brand new episode of Chalk Talk is live from Ron's Pizza in Bellefontaine, Ohio, every Wednesday night at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Wherever you're watching from the Eastern Time Zone, if you're out in Colorado for whatever reason, I don't know what's out there, but maybe Lou knows what in the world would be going on out there in Colorado, ditching the show to be out there. My goodness. Yeah, wherever you're watching, 7 to 8 Eastern Time, every Wednesday right here on Peak of Ohio TV's YouTube channel and PeakofOhioTV.com. Coach, welcome to Chalk Talk. We'll turn our attention to baseball now.
Sounds good.
I know you've got to be thrilled about baseball season having started already. You guys got a win under your belt. We'll talk about that here in a bit. Opening day is this week for the minor league teams, for the major league teams. March is truly, I think it gets the rep for basketball, but this is truly the baseball month.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, we got a fall spring about like 3 weeks ago where we were able to like go outside and practice, and it was like 65 and it was beautiful. And then we just got hit with like winter again. So that was kind of tough, but yes, it is officially baseball season.
That's one of the challenges with baseball and all spring sports in general, but specifically baseball because your uniforms are short-sleeved, that you're really at the mercy of Mother Nature. How do you as a coach and your coaching staff, how do you adapt to that ever-changing Ohio weather?
Oh, to be honest, I would say that's probably one of the biggest headaches for a coach because I'm lucky enough with really good parents in our program, but for example, I know last week we were supposed to practice outside from 3 to 5, to do the basics and stuff. Well, at 2:35 we got hit with a random, rain shower.
Yeah.
We ain't practicing outside in that. So it's like, all right, well, now our gym time's 5 to 7. So boys, you got to go home and we'll see you at 5. And then, of course, practice planning, what you thought you were going to do outside 3 to 5, then you're like, well, can't do that inside. So you got to a lot of that stuff, these first about 4 or 5 weeks of the season is just kind of brutal when it comes to weather and trying to figure out what you want to do with the kids. And they actually have to get ready for the season too, so you can't just say, all right, well, we're just going to hit off a tee and then call it a day. So you got to try to incorporate some things and make it competitive so you could put the best 9 out there.
You mean to tell me they won't let you do hitting practice in the gym?
Well, we do. We have in the auxiliary gym at Bellefontaine, we have a batting practice net that comes down so I can throw live to the boys. We can do some stuff in there, but again, it's more unrealistic than being able to hit out on a baseball field.
Yeah, it's not the same, and the fielding is going to be different because you're not in the gap. If you're a shortstop, you're at the foul line, wherever you are in a gym.
You're on the baseline in a gym.
Exactly. Yeah, it is a little different, but at least those motions, that muscle memory starts to set in here. I know this isn't the first time that you guys have been working out. I'm sure there have been off-season workouts and things that you guys have been doing since the fall to get ready for here. What does that look like before officially commencing with the season this week?
Well, there's different parameters that you can do. Like in the fall, to be honest, we can't do much. It's more on the boys themselves. So if they might text me and say, hey, coach, can we hit? I'm like, yeah, sure, I can meet up with you and but I can't do a lot of instructing per se in the fall. But in the winter, we can lift, we can do strength and conditioning stuff, we can pitch, we can do all that kind of stuff. We can get more instructional in the winter, so that's nice. And by the spring, it's more incorporating team things like bunt coverages, first and thirds, all the things that some people look over, I kind of hammer over and over and over, and then again, one more time.
Well, you put the fun in fundamentals.
Yeah,
That's all it is.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
What have your boys' participations looked like over that offseason? You say it's on them, and have they been participating like you'd want to?
Well, to be honest, we have a lot of guys in our program that are 3-sport athletes, which is nowadays is rare. I mean,
yeah.
But
because everybody's starting to specialize.
Correct. Which again, I have my own personal opinion on that matter, but I think the more kids can compete at anything, whether it's chess, checkers, tic-tac-toe, football, baseball, practice and just lifting and doing stuff like that doesn't make you an ultimate competitor.
Right.
So it doesn't matter what you're playing in. I like to see guys compete in anything. And that kind of shows me the fire that I will see from them in baseball. I just sit there and watch a basketball game and see them give it everything they have. I like that.
Yeah, and we've talked with numerous coaches on the show before that sports translate. Just because they're not fielding grounders during
Correct.
football season doesn't mean that they're not conditioning like they
Correct.
would for baseball. That's going to come there. They're not lifting, which is going to come great for baseball.
Correct.
If you're doing basketball, that's coordination, which is going to be great when you're in the box.
And that's the thing I always tell people. Baseball is, I would say, baseball and golf are similar when it comes to mental. I mean, if you want some mentally tough dudes in your program, you tell them to play baseball, because I'm telling you right now, if you're a pitcher or hitter, it's just you. And you got all these people watching you. And are you going to strike out and watch 3 balls go right by you, or are you going to have some grit, some toughness, and battle? So.
Oh, and even then, you can make contact with, you could be up to the box 4 times, make contact all of them, and either ground out, pop out, fly out. You can make contact and still go 0 for 4.
Correct.
That can weigh in on you. I'm doing everything right. They're just on me today.
Correct. And I think also with high school age boys, that's the hardest thing, because you could be really good on a summer team or whatever, then you're struggling. And then, of course, the pressure, So, again, all that kind of stuff, it eats at high school age boys. So most of the time I try to keep things at practice lighter and more competitive, just because I kind of try to keep it game-like as possible. So when we get in a game, we're ready.
Now, speaking of games, you guys won 9-3. I believe that was Monday.
Yep.
Was that?
Yep.
What did you see in that game that you liked? What did you see that you didn't?
Now, again, our team is very athletic. I mean, Riley Neer, one of our seniors, he's going to Ohio University for football, very athletic. Chris Fogan, he's going to Ohio Dominican for football, very athletic. So, like, those 2 dudes alone, I mean, by the time they hit first, you blinked and they were at third. For a coach, it's easy. You just steal,
Yeah.
It's like, all right.
Willie Mays Hayes, go for it.
I could have just shouted from the dugout, steal, and he probably still would have got second. So, later in the year, our conference is, I would say this year, because I played at Indian Lake growing up, and I followed, of course, Central Buckeye Conference baseball, watching, either getting online and seeing teams, and, of course, coaching here at Bellefontaine for a while. I would say the Kenton Trail Division this year in our conference is probably the toughest I've ever seen it, just top to bottom with our opponents in the league. Like Jonathan Alder, last year I believe they went 28-2, and they return everybody. Urbana is going from the Mad River side, and they're joining our side, and they were a pretty good team last year, and they got everybody back. Kenton Ridge got everybody back, and they were good last year. So it's like we got to match their energy, and by us being very fast in the base pass, we can make contact, decent pitching, just got to make plays.
To a lot of people, that would seem intimidating or a bad thing, that a lot of great competition came into there. But I know the way you talk about competition, that's a challenge to you. Like, you get to play really good guys. That's going to show you very early if you're there, if you're not, what your team is truly capable of. You're going to have the expectations laid out in terms of, can we realistically make a run, or are we going to focus on rebuilding here right off the rip?
Yeah, in all honesty, what I typically try to do, especially early in the season, because we only got one scrimmage in because of the lovely weather. So
Thanks, Mother Nature.
Yeah, exactly. So early on in the year, I try to put guys in random spots. I mix, match. And to be honest, I just watch.
In the order and on the field?
Yep. And I just want to see them compete. I want to see how they react to being benched. Because again, we only can play 9 guys, and sometimes you're not going to play. And are you still going to be a good teammate, or are you going to be pouting and worry about yourself, or are you going to be a good teammate? So that's a life skill too. You're never going to get what you want, but you got to be a team player. So again, our conference, especially middle, late in the year, that's when we kind of set our roster. So then we get ready for that postseason push, because again, that's where it truly matters. That's a season that matters.
You've got consistency.
Got to go. So like last year, for example, early on we were kind of trying to figure out what we were going to do, set rosters and stuff, and we struggled kind of early. But then we hit our stride, which is exactly what you want to do. And then we basically made it all the way to that district final game, lost to Chaminade-Julian 2-1, and they made it all the way to the Final Four. Yeah. So, the formula's there. It's just, I just hope all our guys hop on that bus.
Yeah.
And are ready to rock and roll.
But, Coach, what do you mean I'm not pitching tonight? My girlfriend's in the stands.
Well, she can still see you spitting sunflower seeds right over there by me. She'll still like you after the game, I promise.
She can still wear your jersey to school. She still does all that. Blah, 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 blah.
But she'll appreciate you even more cheering on your teammates right now.
Going back to what you said about a mental game, I focused that on, how you're performing at the plate, how you're doing on the hill, things like that. Something that I was immediately reminded of when you talked about that 2-1 score to Chaminade-Julian. Sometimes it's out of your control. If another team is just on, they are.
Correct.
There are a lot of things in terms of scoring and the opponents that you can't control, let alone your own performance here. That's another added element to baseball that I think a lot of people don't truly appreciate in terms of the strength it takes to get over these bad performances and be a great baseball player or team.
Correct. I also tell the boys this. Of course, we want to go 27-0 in the regular season. I want to win every game too, but again, baseball's, you could play a team at the best you could possibly play, and they could hit a couple, rinky-dink shots over second base. We make an error, they beat us 1-0. We could have played a phenomenal game and lose 1-0. Mm-hmm. Does that mean we're a bad team? No. They got us that day. So I kind of look at it week to week. Did we win the week? Do we go? We play 4 games. If we go 3-1, it's a great week. 2-2, it's an average week. 1-3, oh.
We got to fix some things.
We got to fix something. 0-4? Hey, boys.
Everybody's going out of the minors.
Yeah. Hey, changes.
You're getting sent down to middle school.
Changes.
You could give up a Texas leaguer in the top of the third, and that's the only hit gone.
And vice versa. The boys give great effort, which they all do, which I, as a coach, appreciate. And sometimes they get hard on themselves for making an effort error. Right? They assume I'm going to get mad. Mm-hmm. I'm not mad at that. I'm mad at the ones where they're like loaf or don't fully go for it, and then the ball drop. That's where I get irritated, and they know that. And again, this group of boys that I get to coach, it's awesome. I look forward to going to practice and just hanging out with them. I enjoy just sitting over there and listening to them kind of rip on each other and eat pizza and just hang out and be kids, and that's fun.
I spent last summer interning with the broadcast team for the Columbus Clippers, and I remember hearing one of the coaches during batting practice talk about miss hard, and I was like, "What is miss hard?" It means if you're gonna go for a play, go for it. I don't care if you miss it, if you let the ball go up through the gap, if you made a sincere diving play for it, if you gave it, boom, and that's what that struck like to me with what you were just saying is, I'd rather see you go for a play and miss it than just dog it.
Correct. I think anybody would. If you're a football coach, basketball coach, baseball, soccer, whatever sport, a coach wants you just to play hard. It's common sense, but sometimes,
Sometimes the most simple things are the hardest ones.
Correct.
For some people. Really quick before we bring your guys up here, talk to us about the team in terms of, how you are class-wise, how you are
Yeah.
size and strength-wise, where your identity is, stuff like that.
Yeah, so again, we have 6 seniors, and again, I've known them since they were 8th graders. I taught 8th grade social studies, so I kind of knew them beforehand, so I kind of knew what I was getting myself into with these jokers. And again,
do you ever know what you're getting yourself into? Though,
no, not really. Not
with
really.
High schoolers.
That's true. But again, they're great kids, and on the baseball field, they give everything they have, and I truly appreciate all they do. So those 6 seniors are the glue. They've been the best. And then we have about 5 juniors that will be on the varsity program, and 3 sophomores and about 2 or 3 freshmen that will be floating. You know, they may be JV one day with us the next day. You know, just kind of floats. But the thing that's great right now for me as a baseball coach is having depth and making sure that we can fulfill being competitive JV-wise and varsity-wise, but also if we have a varsity guy struggling or not doing what he's supposed to do in the classroom or not doing, you know, the right things in the community, I can say, hey, buddy, you didn't do this, so your butt's going to meet the bench, and then I have a next guy that can replace him. So for me, that's a nice thing to have.
It doesn't hurt the team to
correct
punish a guy, for lack of a better term.
Correct.
Yeah.
And vice versa. With us having this much depth, our practices have been great because I think the boys know, hey, I got this guy right behind me that's not bad, so I got to lock in and practice hard because I could be the guy behind him.
Right.
So
this can change in a practice.
Correct.
If I'm not careful.
Correct.
Yeah, and I mean, having somebody breathing down your neck is a good idea.
And that's competition. And it shows
exactly.
Grit. Yeah, that's exactly what I like.
Now you're speaking the language of a high school boy. Competition.
Correct.
There it is. All right, so let's bring your guys up here. We'll see if we can pull their noses out of TikTok for long enough to get a signal up here.
I can only imagine what they're looking at over there. Hey.
Yeah, there we go.
And I'll let them take over the
No,
headset.
no.
You want me to stick around?
You keep that there. We got a mic here.
All right, cool.
Yeah. No. One of my favorite things is bringing the kids up here and hearing the coach live react to some of the stupid stuff they say here.
Oh, we got some characters, I'll tell you that.
It's a high school baseball team, I figured. All right, boys, it's picture day. We got to do layers here. Yeah, somebody sit here. Preferably, I'd hope it'd be the short guy who you're completely blocking right here. I don't usually make executive decisions on who takes the stool, but I think I will this time. Considering you sat down and immediately, you couldn't even see you back there. So, really quick, Coach has said you guys are all seniors here, but I need to put names to faces. Tell me who everybody is here.
You want me to introduce everybody?
I mean, or they can, or you
okay.
So this is one of the things about being in the stool is you got to hold the mic around to everybody.
All right, I'm Jackson Hoskins. I'm Riley.
What's your last name, Riley?
Just Riley.
Riley Neer.
He's really
Zane
enthusiastic.
Tevis.
This is going to be the talkster.
Chris
right
Fogan.
Here.
Charlie Bible.
All right, let me take some guesses here in terms of positions.
Okay.
Catcher?
No. No.
All right, strike one. Who looks slow? Who could be a first baseman? Why am I looking at you? He's nodding.
Hey, that's a great guess.
I'm thinking that's first baseman.
Great guess.
Shortstop?
No.
No, wow.
He wants to be.
He wants to be. I'm going to stop guessing here. Just tell me.
I play second base.
We'll be here for years.
I play center. Catcher.
Okay.
Utility.
Everywhere.
Utility, anyway.
Left field. First base.
Yeah. All right, I got one. All right, I'll take. 1 of 3 is still a good day at the box. All right, I'll take it. I'll take it here. Talked with Coach about the season. 9-3 win on your 9-3 win on your first game here. What's that like to open the season in the right way?
It was awesome. It was great to get out there. Started off strong. We played a good team game. We hit good. We had some troubles in the field, but other than that, it was fun to get out there.
Who is pleased with their performance in Game 1? Who says I'm ready for the majors after Game 1?
I don't know about the majors, but it's a solid game. Yeah.
Hey, these guys are pretty humble. They're not.
There you go.
That's another trait that I like about them.
That's that probing question, though. I gotta figure out where they are. So that's a good one.
Yeah.
This is the funny bit, because Coach said one of the things he enjoys is just hearing you guys goof off over the pizza there, and now I'm seeing the shovings and the Snickers in between each other. Like, this is going to be fun here. I will ask too, because we talked about that you guys are a very competitive bunch. Love to compete against one another. Love to compete against other teams in your division here. Couple new teams coming in. A lot of strength returning to this. You guys excited to play some of the best teams in, I think, this region of the state of Ohio?
Yes, sir. I just want to beat Alder this year.
Just beat Alder?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, I'm excited for sure. You got teams like KR, Alder. CBC is competitive every year, both sides, so it's fun. We're excited this year. We got a lot of guys coming back as well, so we're excited about that as well.
I love conference play. Like, out of conference play is fun, but like in conference play, because like a lot of people, especially like Tecumseh, I'm excited to play them. It got pretty scrappy last year, and we took both wins, so I want to get after them again.
I think this year for us is just about proving to everyone else that we can be as good as we know that we are. So that's what I'm excited for.
Yeah, and I feel the same way as Zane. It just can't wait to show everybody like what we are really made of, and like how much better we've really gotten.
You have not stopped smirking since you got over here.
I'm a smiley guy.
I'm terrified about what's going through your
Charlie's
head.
probably got a joke on top of his head right now.
Oh, I'm waiting on it.
I'm a smiley guy. But yeah, pretty much these guys said it best. I don't have anything else to add to that.
He's got a joke of a day, probably.
Probably. I'm pretty certain, knowing what I know about high school men, having been one myself, it's not a one that we'll say on the mic here. So I'll get it after. We'll get it after here. I know we've got opening day coming up. Who's ball clubs we got? Who's your major team?
Your Major League Baseball team, Jackson.
The Dodgers, baby.
Why?
I don't know. My stepdad's a huge fan, so.
Okay, that's fair. See, this is one of my big pet peeves, gentlemen. Where you're born are the teams you were born into. If you're born in Ohio, tough. Your Bengals, Browns, your Reds, Guardians, you're born there.
Browns all the way, baby.
So when you say Dodgers, that's immediately when I'm like, okay, hold on. You better have a good reason for this.
No, not a bandwagon.
Okay, good. Good. Who else?
Who's yours, Riley?
I kind of used to be a Dodgers fan. Now I'm a Reds fan, so, made a switch. There you go.
Yeah.
In about the minute it took me to tell him that, he made the change. Good.
Reds fan.
Guardians.
There we go. Somebody had the correct answer.
Come on, Chris.
Yankees.
Guardians.
Why, bro? Why?
Aaron Judge.
It's just fun to watch.
He likes to see the home runs.
Oh my gosh. I knew there was going to be one. There was going to be one pinstriper. It's okay. You can fight through it, Caleb. I know one of the big things that I think is fun about baseball, same thing with football, it's always fun to ask the little wardrobe adjustments. Do you let them do their own, like, are you somebody who would be like in basketball, like tennis shoes kind of deal?
I will say this. I tell the boys every year, there's 3 things that I really don't dive into. Number 1, uniforms. Number 2, team pictures. And number 3, team meals. Those things I don't like micromanage, because some of our guys, yes, they like to do all the pinstripey, nice stuff. Other dudes just throw on their pants and jersey and they rock and roll. So I just kind of let them do their thing.
So I'm going to get you guys, I'm going to get some quick hitters here, pun intended, very much so. You guys know this show by now. I love my puns. Quick hitters on some baseball preferences when it comes to attire here. So we'll start off with a very easy one. Long pants or short ones?
Short ones. Short and tight.
See what I'm saying?
He specified tight. Bro's out here rocking leggings every time he takes them out.
Oh, yeah. I'll probably say short as well. Classic.
What about tight, though?
I like them more loose than, but
You're like
Don't
MC
lie.
Are you MC Hammer or Taylor Swift when it comes to your pants?
I have no idea what that is.
I go long and tight, actually. Like a little cuff at the ankle.
I'm telling you, hey, I'm being serious. Sometimes I'll walk in the clubhouse and I'll have these guys like by the mirror in the clubhouse looking at, like adjusting. I'll be like, I just turn around. I look in, I say, oh my God, I just turn right back around.
Been looking at his like grip, he's just checking.
Yeah, he's like,
You're a tire, not your face.
Well, I'm gonna say.
So, Coach, when we were talking about the guy who would probably be frustrated that he's on the bench because his girlfriend's in attendance, is that?
Well, if Riley's on the bench, then
it's not a good day.
It's not going to be a good day for the Chiefs.
Then he has failed every class.
Yeah,
and
he must have did something wrong or he pulled a hamstring.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna say short pants, but what Owen's referring to is called tweeners. That's another good option.
Tight twins. Them Lululemons you got.
Oh yeah.
The Lululemon. Dear Lord.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go short as well, but not tight.
Oh dear. Here we go,
I'm about to
Chuck.
say long and tight.
Okay. Anything under the uniform, or are you just going the short sleeves?
Just short sleeves.
Like a sleeve or something, I don't know. You know, just simple.
Yeah, arm sleeve guy, or like tight 3/4, and then do some tape.
So specific.
Arm sleeve and wrist tape. Way to go.
Yeah, arm sleeve and tape.
Big 3/4 sleeve guy.
So what?
So could you imagine me as a coach saying, "Hey, fellas, we're going to go short sleeves, white underneath." You know, we'd have anarchy in the dugout.
I'm honestly just surprised you have some hair on underneath that hat.
I don't. I'm losing it every day.
I see why. I've never heard of tape before. Now, admittedly, I didn't play baseball at a competitive level aside from when they took the tee away. What's the purpose of the tape?
Drip.
Drip. Yes, I'm rocking the Gucci watch and the athletic tape right here. You know, it completes the fit.
Oh yeah.
Makes sense, huh?
Hey, it keeps you safe. Catch him anyway.
Keeps you safe. Okay, keeps you safe here. He said keeps you safe. I know the mic's right here and he was right there, so
keeps you safe.
Keeps you safe. There we go. If anybody needs to be safe, now I'll ask you here. Do you have knee protectors? No. Yeah. That's a man right there. When you get that arthritis when you're walking around the home, still just know you did this with pride.
It's been going on. Yeah,
it's been
already started.
What do you mean in the home? It's been when I turned 16. I feel like we're going to get a unanimous absolutely on this. Pit Vipers, yes or no? No. Not what I expected at all.
What's a pit viper?
Charlie has like 6
Pit
pairs
Vipers
of
are those ugly freaking sunglasses.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, God. That must have been a trend last year. I'm glad those are gone.
Is it now the Oakleys, or is it just that Pit Vipers were just a scummy thing? It's always been Oakleys. So then you guys rocking Oakleys when you play?
I can't find mine.
Sorry, Mom. You better apologize to your mom.
She knows.
Sorry, Mom. How about necklaces or anything you guys got under there? Immediately.
Why me?
Called out.
Necklaces.
Called out here.
Simple chain.
Yep.
Cross chain.
Hey, chain stays on.
Chain stays on. Chain
Simple
stays on.
chain, yeah.
Simple chain.
And then the last thing, because I got a little caught up here and we're running out of time here, the last thing that I love to hear players say, especially when coach is on the mic here, that one drill where if coach says in practice, hey, we're doing this, you guys go,
Like 21 outs.
Yep.
21 outs.
21 outs to the infield. That's why. Yeah, I'll tell you what.
center fielder calling out the infield.
21 outs.
Base running drills.
No. That's a good one.
21 outs.
All right, we've got an almost unanimous pick here. So I'll take this. I'll let you guys go back to enjoying whatever pizza you have left here.
It's devoured.
It's all
devoured.
gone. I should have figured here. But I'll let you guys go back there and enjoy it. I'll send Coach back to you here in just a second. Man, I am honestly proud that they said no Pit Vipers. I did not think that was the answer I was going to get here.
Well, we had a lot of talks over those glasses last year. I mean, we did make a ruling between the assistant coaches and I that we would rock those ugly glasses if we could win 5 straight. Unfortunately, we only got to 4.
Ah.
So, yeah.
Well, is that unfortunately, though? If that's on the line,
Hey, how to
you
put
can
it out
still
there.
win a lot of games if you go 4-game streaks.
How to put it out there, though.
That's fair. At least you took the risk of it here.
Correct.
I think that would have been justifiable with him.
Yeah.
Coach, next game coming up, how can fans support you?
Yeah, so our league opener is Friday, this upcoming Friday against Northwestern. It's a crossover game. It's our first home game at Blue Jacket Park. People are more welcome. It's free $99 to go on down there and watch us play. Horvath Productions, they do a phenomenal job. They video the whole thing and broadcast it. It's really cool. They're partnering with Bellefontaine City Schools and having some kids help out that way too. So people can watch on Horvath's YouTube stream, or they can just come on out, and we have the concession stand open. They can sit there, eat some popcorn, hopefully watch us strike out a lot of Northwestern headers and watch us, hit the ball around.
Or at least smack dingers.
Yeah,
at least.
Exactly.
Even if you don't strike them out, if you outscore them, that's what matters.
That's all that matters.
Coach, thanks for taking the time to talk with us today. When we come back, I'll do my nightly roundup after this. Chalk Talk concludes in a moment.
At Dodds Wealth Advisors, we've been serving the Logan County area for 45 years, and we've seen a lot. Blue collar, white collar, no collar. We've learned that what all our clients really want is peace of mind. So, our mission?
We walk with others, guiding them to peace of mind and confidence. Money doesn't come with instructions, and we want people to be able to focus on what they care about most.
The weekend should be for relaxing, and that means no cooking. Check out what's hot at Ron's Pizza in Bellefontaine. On top of pizzas, they have subs, sandwiches, salads, and lots of sides like breadsticks, garlic cheese bread, pickle chips, beer battered onion rings, loaded fries, and more. Check out a specialty pizza this weekend. Ron's Pizza is ready to cook for you. Call 292-7775 or stop by and dine in on South Main Bellefontaine. See more and a menu online at Ron's Pizza's Facebook page.
Welcome back one final time this week to Ron's Pizza in Bellefontaine, Ohio. We started off our show talking to Kris Myers, the superintendent of the Bellefontaine Joint Recreation District, about his upcoming levy. Still, the jury is out on it. Final voting will come in April 9th to see whether it passed or not. He talked about the plans that are coming up in the community, regardless of whether that levy passes, and some of the things they have upcoming as well, some events that they have going on this summer as we start to get warmer weather outside. And then we just wrapped up our conversation with Bellefontaine head baseball coach Russ Hogue and some of his seniors who are playing on the team. They had a 9-3 win on Monday, and they will play again on Friday. So make sure you support their team and follow them along all year long. We will see you next week here for a brand new edition of Chalk Talk on Peak of Ohio TV and PeakofOhioTV.com. But until that time, for our executive producer, Vito, our show producer, Chad Wilkinson, and our audio engineer, Gary Kauffman, got to throw him in on there, but only at the end. I'm your host, Caleb Spinner. We'll see you next time. But for now, that's the show. I'm out of here.